Hello, hello, hello. How goes it? I may be the only one in here, and that's okay. I'll just play some music until some people show up. And if they don't, y'all can watch it later. Let me know if anybody is in here, if you see the stream, if it looks good, if it sounds good. Yeah, I'd appreciate knowing that. All right. Hey, what's up, SMS? There he is, partner. Yeah, March static on the radio, and the tubes they glow in the dark. And I'm there with her in Ensenada when I'm here in Echo Park. Carmelita, hold me tighter. Well, I think I'm sinking down, and I'm all strung out on heroin on the outskirts of town. So I pawned my Smith & Wesson, and I went to meet my man. He hangs out down on El Dorado Street by the Pioneer chicken stand. Carmelita, hold me tighter. Oh, well, I think I'm sinking down, and I'm all strung out on heroin on the outskirts of town. So I'm sitting here playing solitaire with my pearl-handled deck, and the county won't give me no more methadone, and they cut off my welfare check. Carmelita, hold me tighter. Oh, well, I think I'm sinking down, and I'm all strung out on heroin on the outskirts of town. A little bit of G.G. Allen covers Linda Ronstadt by Russell in 432. Hey, Justin. So, that was the musical intro. What's going on is that I've got a new sound setup. I've got new video setup. I'm looking good. I'm feeling good. And things are going well in Michigan. Hi, Sue. Good to see everyone in here. I'm glad you guys stopped by. Thanks for spending some time with me. So things are going well here. You know, I moved. Hold on. Oh no. Ah. Sorry. Yeah, that's that's how we do it over here. Anyhow, don't you know it's going well, eh? Um, I moved on the 1st of June and have been here since then and just enjoying myself. Things are going great. Things are going better than great. It's just there's still existential pain. There's still um just life stuff. But that being said, I feel like God has really invoked favor on my passage here, kind of as a whole. Like I feel like I'm surrounded by some really good people, and I'm getting the opportunity to peer into some rabbit holes without being looked at like my head is screwed on sideways. I live with some really good people, kind people, and we're doing a little bit of activism here. Why not? I will share with you some of the flyers that just started printing. We haven't gotten any, we put up a few of them, and I've got a couple different drafts, but these are the ones we put up. Just locally, we're trying to start a self-sustaining community, just like this flyer says. Wanted, open-minded, hardworking humans who seek to live independently from corrupt government and state restrictions. Purpose/scope, create self-sustaining communities to achieve independence from tyrannical government overreach. Requirements, a serious desire to form independent communities that rely on each other rather than an inherently corrupt government. All applicants must be willing to learn, share, work, and love thy neighbor. Exclusions, high-level executives or administrators from politics, banking, law enforcement, and education. Authority figures who have supported the pandemic will not be considered for membership. Silence is complicity. Thumb Mutual Assistance Group, yada, yada, yada. Contact Russell or Brian to learn more and gain control of your family's future. Protect our children. Now, we put that one up, and I've done some edits since that. It actually didn't have typos in the one that we did put up. But we have yet to hear from anyone. And so I've also put one together which says nothing about the government and is much more of a positive vibe. And I want your guys' opinion on this as part of this update and part of this. I do these live streams so I'll get a chance to talk to my audience, and I care what you guys think. Some of the best advice I've ever got has come from the people that listen to my YouTube channel. Must mean you have good taste. You're all very smart. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. So, this is option 2. Wanted, open-minded, hardworking humans who seek to live independently in self-sustaining local communities. Purpose/scope, to create self-sustaining communities within our local area. Get to know each other, have open and honest discussions, barter, share, trade, learn, and grow. Requirements, all applicants must be willing to think critically, be honest, work hard, and communicate openly and peacefully. We are starting this group in hopes to meet like-minded people who want to live independently and focus on developing lasting personal and business relationships within the local community. And similar thing down here, it just says contact Russell or Brian to learn more and take the first steps towards building a brighter future for the residents of the Thumb. Now, me personally, I think that option 2. Oh, the option is, yeah, the Michigander. That's me. Here, I'll just fuck it. Here's my phone number. Fedbook already knows it. Like, it's not even, I seriously, like, how could I hide? I've been saying stuff that you should not say on the internet if you don't want to end up in the line for the fucking guillotine at Walmart. But yeah, it's too late at this point. So here, I'll just fire it off in the chat. Not going to say it aloud. But yeah, you can reach me there. And Also, you can go back and freeze frame this. I did share the screen, I think. I'm not sure if you guys could see it. Um, no. So the Michigander, I am in Sandusky. Um, when I put this forth, I have we have a home that we stay at here, but we are not self-sustaining yet. We are not living off the land. We live in Sandusky. Um, my friend who is a part of this with us, Lee, if you watch this, hi. He is a certified horticulturalist, 10 years experience. He knows how to grow this, that, and the other, all of the above, and is a pretty authentically good human being, crystal gripping hippie, knows how to camp and live off the land, etc., 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 and has done it extensively. But that being said, right now we live still in the middle of a city. We're taking a look at some acreage. It's just we got to when we move to buy the right place, it's we have to be led that it's the right place because right now money is still a thing, and yeah, we're you're competing with out here stuff sells like boom in Michigan. It goes on the market and then it's off the market. So anyhow, things are going good with um the activism. Things are going good, and that's very limited start that we've had here. But please do contact me, Michigander. Um, and cool name. There you go. I got a rock tumbler. I haven't fired it up yet, but as soon as I get a hold of a tablespoon measurement, that's gonna be a thing. I will be tumbling some pretty stones. And I've been busking. I've been playing 2 shows every weekend, and then I busk at Walmart sometimes, and doing quite well out here. And just when I say quite well, it just means like I'm able to make a few $100 in a weekend. Not like I haven't reached Playboy status yet. I'm not ready to retire. But that being said, people are very appreciative of the music here, and they tip me nicely. I can afford to um, pay my rent, support all my vices, etc., etc., and to help people out in the truth community. One of our friends, Miriam Yahushua, and I know her from Voynix channel. The other day, Regan told me that Miriam was like, she got sunburnt really bad and had sun heat stroke. And so I sent her $10, and I get that money from playing the guitar at bars and on the street. And it's cool that it works out here well for me. SMS said, yeah, no problem, Michigander. Dude, I'm going to learn um, the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, some Michigan tunes. I'm from the state of Washington, so I'm going to figure out what real snow looks like. Maybe not that real. Yeah, so I it's each one teach one. You guys, like, when you donate to my show, it's not only going to whoever sells me nicotine and booze, and no one sells me weed. They don't have to. It's just it fucking grows out of my goddamn armpits. Oh, sorry, God, didn't mean to GD. Um, but yeah, I'm not like you know, simply taking the money I get for the podcast and spending it on you know, OnlyFans subscriptions or anything. I just bought a new camera. I'm constantly trying to work on this thing. I've just been very busy since I got here, and I'm glad. I'm glad to be here. Glad to be here giving you this update. I've got some good stuff for you guys. Yeah, Miriam's cool. So, yeah, I also well, let's just say I won't be going back to Washington. Um I don't need to go into it any more than that. I just realized that was not the place for me, and not only was I not being of my highest and best use there, but I just yeah, you know what? Never mind. I'll just leave it at that. I'm not going to go back to Washington, so I'll either be out here or if I get really sick of the cold and something, and you never know what's going to happen. Maybe I'll be in a city near you. Keep your eyes out, but you probably hear me first. Okay. Now, we've got all different, a few various little rabbit holes. The transpocalypse is still going on. Oh, that's a nice little rabbit hole. Looks inviting. The transpocalypse is still going on. We'll talk a little bit about that. I did have some stabilized ISS footage, and I was trying to figure out what in the hell. Oh fuck. Sorry, I just lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, I was trying to figure out what in the hell this ISS footage actually is, and I don't know. I don't know much about telescopic work. I can't like vouch for the authenticity of the guy who did this, and also he's been on Godlike Productions for years, posting all type of heliocentric, astronomy nonsense, theoretical astrophysics. So I just was like, I'm not even going to share this with my audience. We don't know what that is. For all I know, it could be a production, like, you know what a light bright is, like those little things where you peg in the boards. It could be somebody spray painted the firmament with like some holographic spray paint. I have no freaking idea, but I don't think it's a bunch of astronauts. Weed, says the Michigander. Weed. I agree. Weed. So, I wanted to go through this as a little compilation. This is worth it just for a laugh. The hypocrisy is just like how anybody can believe that either this ruler or that ruler, like Bob Dobbs or this flying spaghetti monster, you know, these are these people aren't going to help you. This is two sides of the same coin, but somehow, the very thing that they are saying, I would never do this. If Trump told me to do this, now they're standing on the same pulpit as he was, and now they're spouting that same script. And they're like, you should trust us, though. So, anyways, it's worth a chuckle.
So let's just say there's a vaccine that is.
Hold on. Let me route this through here. Boom. So, like, this doesn't surprise me. I'm sure it doesn't surprise you, but I just, oh, no sound. Really? Fuck, dude. Okay. Well, that is, I'm not even sure how I'd fix that. Hmm. All right. Yeah, I can't figure out how I would fix it. Okay. Let me give this a try. I'd have to mute it on my end, though, because it's going to bleed in through the mic. And, well, I guess I won't speak during it. I hope you could hear it that time. If you couldn't, please let me know. Chris, you're the only one who said no sound. So if the chat could, no? What in the fuck is going on? Could you see it? Fuck, man, I get pissed with audio technical issues. It's just I don't have the skills to do this stuff, and I love to do it. I like podcasting, but it ends up sounding like shit or looking like shit, and I just don't know what the fuck to do about it. Like, I literally have no um I don't have options. Like, I look it up. I try to get everything all set up so that it works perfectly, and then it works perfectly for me. I'll test it out, and from there it doesn't work. Mm. Yeah, that's very, very strange, because usually this display capture will show audio in it, and now the video capture device isn't even. Oh, there we go. Well, sorry. We're gonna see if. Okay. Yeah, OBS is a dirty bitch. Thank you, Michigander. I'm glad. Um, Let me know if you hear this. Yeah, that's because I'm muted my mic because I don't want it to feed back from in there. Let me see if I talk amongst yourselves. You know what? Like, no, anyone who watches this show is pretty much just my buddy, or they can fucking hang. Oh, desktop audio. Maybe that's. Oh, what do you know? All right, motherfuckers, you want to see a transsexual fight in like a Puerto Rican pizzeria? Are you ready for this shit? Yes. I think you might be. We'll do a quick test.
Va que me pongo mal, que no te da un sasso por la cabeza.
Ya.
Se llama FBI.
No te vayas a equivocar.
FBI.
No te vayas a equivocar.
Let's go back to where we were
¿Cómo
at.
fue?
Oh,
¿Cómo fue? ¿Cómo fue? ¿Cómo fue? Dale. ¿Y cómo fue? ¿Qué dijiste? ¿Qué dijiste? ¿Qué dijiste? Para que llames al 911, te brindamos que yo soy ciudadana. Soy marcar que a mí me respeto. A mí me respeta. Me respeta. A mí me respeta.
this
Me
is
respeta.
going down.
A mí me respeta. Me respeta. Vámonos.
He must be bleeding or something.
A mí me respeta y yo soy una mujer. Operada mujer.
Does anyone speak Spanish?
Vamos, Victoria.
Okay, I don't even know what to say about that because I have no idea what it was actually about. Wait, no shit, you still don't hear it? I can't fucking believe that, dude. I mean, I can. It's just welcome to the world of podcasting, folks. Make yourself look like a fucking idiot on your live stream if you don't know how to do this stuff. And I don't really even care because it's just so dang fickle and hard. Oh, no. Yeah, this is probably boring as hell. You can leave if you want or stay and hang out. I got more tranny stuff to talk about. Okay, heard it loud and clear? Okay, there we go. There we go. We're winning. So, like, I don't know if anyone speaks Spanish. I mean, I'm sure some people do, but I'm not sure if they speak the specific tranny dialect from whatever borough of the Bronx that was in. No, I don't know where it was at, but it's actually from the States. And I don't know if that had anything to do with transsexuality, but geez, I'll tell you what, it seemed like the more aggravated person was, because it was four men fighting, and fights net, if awkwardly awesome, Regan, if you're here, we were just talking about this, fights never look like you think they would look. Puerta rock. Yeah. Fights never ever look like you think they would look. Like a real fight is just two dudes trying to rip each other's shirts off, unless one of them is a really skilled martial artist and is able to just. But still, there's no Rocky looking kind of fisticuffs that goes down. Usually when I see a fight, I'm like, God, that looks really fucking silly. This is not like an action movie in the very least. Bruce Lee would be ashamed. What do you guys think about Bruce Lee? Actor? Would you fight him? I wouldn't, but I wouldn't fight a girl. I wouldn't fight like a 4-year-old girl. I'm not good at physical combat. I'd pepper spray her if she tried to steal my candy. No, not really. Yeah, fuck, I'll tell you what, that could be completely unrelated to anything conspiratorial or part of the transgender psychology cultural agenda. But this is for sure 100% related to the transgender cultural psychology agenda.
There's a lot of
weaponized
misinformation out
sexuality.
there about what it means to be transgender, but recently scientists have begun to look more closely into the neurology, physiology, and psychology behind it.
So today we're going to break down what science does know in a respectful and educational way. Hey guys, I'm Gigi Gorgeous, and today I'm here with ASAP Science to break down the science of being transgender. Before we get too deep into it, we have to look at your genetic sex, or the chromosomes you have. These were determined right at fertilization, when the sperm cell from your father, which carries an X or a Y chromosome, fused with the egg from your mother, which carries an X chromosome.
But
So she makes the entire my argument for me at the very start of this video. I really like this. Made my job easy.
until 6 or 7 weeks after fertilization, both XY and XX embryos have identical gonads. Around 7 weeks, the male sex organs start to develop because of a gene on the Y chromosome called SRY. It causes cells to become more specialized, and these cells create testosterone, which in turn triggers the development of structures like the penis and scrotum, while other cells block female development by degenerating the female ducts. However, in female development, because there is no Y chromosome with the SRY gene, these ducts stay intact and become the uterus, cervix, upper vagina, and the oviduct with the help of estrogen and chemicals secreted by the early kidney. But it's not always that simple. There are sometimes even rare combinations like XXY, XXX, XXYY, etc., and even people with XX chromosomes that develop male genitals and characteristics due to a piece of the Y chromosome breaking off and switching places to an X chromosome.
But sexual differentiation in the brain actually happens much later than gonadal differentiation. And yes, although controversial, male and female brains have structural and functional differences between each other. Studies have found that males generally have a larger cerebrum, cerebellum, and hippocampus, while females have higher density left frontal lobes and larger volumes in the right frontal lobes. So what exactly do we see when we look at the brain of a transgender person? Several studies have shown that transgender brains are both structurally and functionally more similar to their experienced gender identity than their biological sex.
Yeah,
One
that
study
happens
found
when
that
you take
trans
hormones.
women who, despite being assigned male at birth, had a smaller female-sized structure in the hypothalamus. MRI scans also show the brain structures of trans people to be more similar in thickness to their experienced gender and not their sex. Finally, the pheromone androstenedione causes different hypothalamic responses in male and female brains. And
I'm
when
interested in
individuals
this.
with gender dysphoria were exposed to it, the hypothalamic response matched their perceived gender rather than their sex. These studies help to highlight how masculinization or feminization of the gonads is not always the same as the brain, and that there's a difference between your sex or your anatomy and your gender or how we perceive our own bodies. There also seems to be a genetic component to transgender identity. Looking at family histories, gender identity incongruence seems to run in the family, meaning they may be inherited. The CYP17 gene, which controls the body's level of sex hormones, has a changed allele that is expressed frequently in trans men. Although more research could be done, scientists are currently looking at over 3 million DNA markers for transgender identity to investigate any genetic link for being trans.
Even though scientific studies validate the experience of transgender people, they're
The
still
experience?
suffering from more depression and anxiety than the general public. The risk
Oh,
of
no.
suicide is more prominent in transgender people who have been rejected by their family, discriminated in the workplace, or in healthcare. Suicide risks seem to decrease after gender transitioning, suggesting that gender dysphoria can cause an extreme amount of emotional pain,
Oh,
even to the
sure.
point of suicide. If you, a family member, or a friend is suffering from gender dysphoria, there are a few links in the description for more information.
Thank you so
If you, a family member or a friend, is suffering from gender dysphoria, please, I beg of you, go speak to a Christian psychotherapist. And I'm not even religious. When I pray to Jesus Christ. That's a personal thing. Now, the whole genetic and psychological argument here is just ridiculous. Like, and yes, Voy, you are exactly right. After transition, more suicides, straight up lies, fabrications, outright bullshit. And this is akin to, like, okay, what they're pointing out psychologically, which they aren't accounting for the influence of hormones. They aren't accounting for the fact that culture has been weaponized to program people to feel uncomfortable within their own bodies, whether it be male, female, or XYZ in between one of the 572 or whatever New York pronouns that you can get in trouble if you don't use the right one. That there's something to that. The hormone that they're talking about, sure, I see those studies. There's some merit there, but that doesn't lead me to believe that it's a good idea to like supplement and encourage people to physically alter their bodies based on some hormonal imbalance they have. Like if somebody is deficient in a nutrient, that would be akin to us saying, or to medicine saying, you should just go ahead and we'll just give you a liver transplant so that you have someone else's liver that can metabolize this better. It's not like it's not a solution that is commensurate with the problem. The problem is that people are confused and scared and they feel alone. They're sexually frustrated. They are divorced from a creator God, a loving God that made us. We're wonderfully made. Whether you have a penis or a vagina, or whether even if you have gender dysphoria, the creator didn't make you that way. The creator made you as a living, immortal spirit being, and then we ate a bunch of eugenicist cocktails and food and corn syrup and yada, 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 you name it, and took a bunch of radically unsafe medical therapies and vaccinations, etc., etc. And then we ended up in situations where we have a great deal of dis-ease within our own bodies and biomes. Hey, Donna Ann. Yup. Okay, so we got something here from Ryan T. Anderson, PhD. He's a practicing physician, I imagine. No, I'm not even sure. He has a doctorate in something. Key takeaways. This is an article entitled Sex Reassignment Doesn't Work. Here is the evidence. Key takeaways. 1. McHugh points to the reality that because sex change is physically impossible, it frequently does not provide the long-term wholeness and happiness that people seek. Well, no, that's not. It gives you new long-term holes. Come on, let's not be unfair. Unfortunately, many professionals now view healthcare, including mental health care, primarily as a means of fulfilling patients' desires, whatever those are. Boom, spot on the money. Opiate substitution therapy, Prozac, frickin' cosmetic surgery, you name it, yada, yada, yada. All of these things that are not safe and good and do not help humans be of our highest and best use to each other, one another, and the universe and our creator. These things are catered to because medicine is currently seen primarily as a means of fulfilling patients' desires, whatever those are. Number 3, our brains and senses are designed to bring us into contact with reality, connecting us with the outside world and with the reality of ourselves. Sounds pretty spot on to me. Sex reassignment doesn't work. It's impossible to reassign someone's sex physically, and attempting to do so doesn't produce good outcomes psychosocially. As I demonstrate in my book, When Harry Became Sally, responding to the transgender movement, it says moment there, but whatever. The medical evidence suggests that sex reassignment does not adequately address the psychosocial difficulties faced by people who identify as trans. Even when the procedures are successfully, technically, and cosmetically, and even in cultures that are relatively trans-friendly, transitioners still face poor outcomes. Dr. Paul McHugh, the University Distinguished Service Professor of Psychiatry at the Johns Hopkins University School of Medicine, explains. Johns Hopkins is like tippity top notch. Those are the guys that made G13 when they first started researching medical cannabis. Like, they're willing to kind of bat outside of the fence, but they are still part of the rumor mill. They're still part of the academic positive feedback loop. But he is a professor of psychiatry at one of the most preeminent medical research universities and schools out there. And he says, transgendered men do not become women, nor do transgendered women become men. All, including Bruce Jenner, become feminized men or masculinized women, counterfeits or impersonators of the sex with they identify. In that lies their problematic feature. I had a meme that says, it's basically transsexuality is just men picking their favorite stereotypes, like cultural stereotypes of women, and doing a poor attempt at acting them out while wearing drag. And that's pretty much spot on to me. When the tumult and shouting dies, it proves not easy nor wise to live in a counterfeit sexual garb. The most thorough follow-up of sex reassigned people, extending over 30 years and conducted in Sweden, while the culture is strongly supportive of the transgendered, documents their lifelong mental unrest. 10 to 15 years after surgical reassignment, the suicide rate of those who had undergone sex reassignment surgery rose to 20 times that of comparable peers. 20 times. So while what this fucking creature, Gigi Gorgeous, said, they may be able to demonstrate that, like, oh yeah, sure, the month after, whatever, within the first 6 months, while the programming is still fresh, the month after, very shortly after you get your reassignment surgery, the suicide rates appear to drop, is what she said. She. Appear. You fucking notice they use that word a lot, because it appears. Well, that may even be the case. I don't give a shit about 1 month or a year. Not that I have children, but if I did, and my child, God forbid, was exposed to this mind fuckery, I care about what's going to happen to them not 10, 15 years. I care about what's going to happen to them 50, 60 years after that. I care about the entire rest of their life. If as a child they were encouraged to undergo some radical hormone and gene and physical therapy, that's completely, it's not that it's even untested, it's that it's, when it has been tested, the results they got were so contrary to what they wanted to see happen that it just got all swept under the rug. And now it's just like that place over there in the Middle East. You just can't talk about it. Although we could talk about this on YouTube, and I don't know, this probably won't get struck. McHughes points to the reality that because sex change is physically impossible, it frequently does not provide the long-term wholeness and happiness that people seek. Indeed, the best scientific research supports McHughes' caution and concern. Here's how The Guardian summarized the results of a review of more than 100 follow-up studies of post-op transsexuals by Birmingham University's Aggressive Research Intelligence Facility. The Aggressive Research Intelligence Facility, which conducts reviews of healthcare treatments for the National Health Service, concludes that none of the studies provides conclusive evidence that gender reassignment is beneficial for patients. It found that most research was poorly designed, which skewed the results in favor of physically changing sex. There was no evaluation of whether other treatments, such as long-term counseling, might help transsexuals, or whether their gender confusion might lessen over time. Yeah, and that's very, very good point there. Surfing the urge, like you want to be the opposite gender. Give it a year, give it 6 months, whatever. It's these practical solutions to this type of discomfort, dysphoria that these people are dealing with, are not pursued. Instead, we use like radical medical intervention. There is huge uncertainty over whether changing someone's sex is a good or a bad thing, said Chris Hyde, the director of the facility. Even if doctors are careful to perform these procedures only on appropriate patients, Hyde continued, there's still a large number of people who have the surgery but remain traumatized, often to the point of committing suicide. Of particular concern are the people these studies lost track of. Yeah, well, it's hard when somebody's, doing poppers and, boofing speedballs and frickin' hanging out in the bathhouse. And yeah, does that person, did they commit suicide? Did they die because they're incredibly distraught and they have a horrible narcotics habit? Yeah, lost track of. I'd just chalk that up to the game that those people off themselves. As The Guardian noted, the results of many gender reassignment studies are unsound because researchers lost track of more than half of the participants. Indeed, Dr. Hyde said the high dropout rate could reflect high levels of dissatisfaction or even suicide among post-op trans people. Hyde concluded the bottom line is that although it is clear that some people do well with gender reassignment surgery, the available research does little to reassure about how many patients do badly and if so, how badly. The facility conducted its review back in 2004, so perhaps things have changed in the past decade. Not so. In 2014, a new review of the scientific literature was done by Hayes Incorporated, a research and consulting firm that evaluates the safety and health outcomes of medical technologies. Hayes found that the evidence on long-term results of sex reassignment was too sparse to support meaningful conclusions and gave these studies its lowest rating for quality. Statistically significant improvements have not been consistently demonstrated by multiple studies for most outcomes. Evidence regarding quality of life and function in male to female adults was very sparse. Evidence for less comprehensive measures of well-being in adults recipients of cross-sex hormone therapy was directly applicable to gender dysphoric patients but was sparse and or conflicting. The study designs do not permit conclusions of causality, and studies generally had weaknesses associated with study execution as well. There are potentially long-term safety risks associated with hormone therapy, but none have been proven or conclusively ruled out. Yeah, then this just goes on. I mean, we're only halfway through this. If you guys want to hear the rest, I'll go into it, but I'm preaching to the choir at this point. I just felt compelled to rail against the transpocalypse. I do that on a regular basis. I'm just like, I've had enough of this shit. I have to say something about it. Exactly, Justin. The problem is that this option has been presented. Like, I understand what it's like to have sexual frustration, to feel a little bit queer, to whatever, to just fucking, like, have sex problems and mental problems. I get it, y'all. And you draw from that what you want, but I'm just telling you, I've been around the gay, the trans community. I understand. I've been a recipient of the fuckery that's been executed on our culture since I was knee-high to a grasshopper, and I understand how somebody could be confused like that, experience gender dysphoria. What I don't understand is how a practicing physician who, if you're practicing and you're trying to get good at something and it's not just making money, but you're practicing helping people, you should probably do extreme thorough research before you start recommending that they undergo unconventional and like radically just kind of untested or only short-term tested changes and surgeries, therapies in order to present them with a solution. Because when you get a 13-year-old kid go in to the psychotherapist and tell them about their, feelings of confusion regarding their gender, previously we had a word for that, and it's an accurate word. Gender dysphoria is what it is. It's a mental health condition, and like I'm not here to wag my finger at these people and say, "Oh, how gross and wrong and bad." Honestly, as far as it goes between consenting adults, do what you want. But when we have a corrupting force and influence in culture that is purposefully weaponizing these type of gender dysphoria concerns and sexual, discontent and just general sexual confusion, at that point, I have to really stand up and say, fuck that. That's not okay with me. And I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'm just ranting, and it honestly, there's probably way better things to pay attention to, but I also feel like this is an issue that gets glazed over in our community, and people are like, "No, I don't know about that. Are you sure? Cher is a man?" Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. She's got even better plastic surgery. Oh, there you go. Ugh. Gyros. Yes, I am sure. I've been around some really very good like pulled it off quite well. Transsexual whatever. People confused weirdos in Seattle that looked much more attractive than Cher. I've been around some Christina Ricci level trannies, and I'll tell you what, I don't believe that even though they pulled it off really well, better than some of these people in Hollywood, I don't believe that it brought them any level of permanent, lasting satisfaction. I believe that what's going on is people are trying to fill a God-shaped hole with a penis, or a vagina or whatever, and I just don't think that works. I think it's like a square in the circle hole, triangle, whatever. So, anybody have anything interesting going on this weekend? Nice. I'll see you at the FEMA camp, Jenny. No, I'm joking. But if you did show your face, I think you'll be just fine. Oh, yeah? That's cool. Live long and prosper, Baldini. Okay. Baldini's here, folks. I'm just chilling like Bob Dylan. Just talking about weaponized sexuality, ranting about the transpocalypse. But we've just got started.
democracyaustralia.com.au. Let's go back.
Check this out.
Monica, thank you for your time. Thank you for what you're doing. Pastor Paul was in the remand centre which is as bad as jail, a pastor with actual criminals and murderers.
That's exactly right. He was, and even his Bible was taken away from him for one whole week. So you can imagine how difficult that would have been for
So
him.
on Tuesday, he was granted bail, but he's not allowed to use social media. The prosecutor tried to add a bail condition that he couldn't communicate with you. But here was a pious man being treated like a criminal. This is Victoria.
Yes, well, actually, I want to quote something that the representative for Victoria Police said. Senior Sergeant Luke Holmes said, and I quote, "Mr. Furlong holds his beliefs very strongly, which is a concern to us." So apparently courage of conviction is now a crime in Victoria.
What?
Mr. Furlong holds his beliefs, a pastor, very strongly, which is a concern for us. So strong beliefs are now a police matter. Monica, I know that you and I have been in touch. We'll speak to Pastor Paul. Please tell him that. But they took his Bible away for a whole week. He had to beg to get one back and sign papers. Have a look at this about Pastor Paul being arrested simply for opening his business because he's a businessman, as well as a pastor who refused to close his church. Have a look at this.
No, you can't do this. He's not even doing anything wrong.
You're arresting a pastor of a church that helps people.
Disgusting, isn't it? And this is the kind of work this fellow's doing in the community, but the Andrews government locks him up with criminals. Listen to this, the pastor speak.
This business was reset up 5 years ago for one purpose, and that is to pour all the profits into saving lives all around the world. Right now in India, we are about to engage some inside contacts with the police. We are raiding some homes that are holding young women as sex slaves, and we are freeing 20 of them in the next couple of weeks. Yeah.
This bloke's thrown into jail with criminals. Monica, the mystery is how Victorian people put up with this stuff.
Oh, that's a really good question. Actually, it motivates us more and more, to be honest. Unfortunately, the more these stories come out, the more people want to actually fight to take their freedoms back. And that's what we are doing at Reignite Democracy Australia. The thousands of volunteers, you know.
I know, but I mean, Andrews is coming back on June 28. He is in a mentally abusive relationship with the whole state. Is there anxiety about the return? I mean, is it credible that a leader falls down some steps and abandons his people for 3 months?
Yeah, it's quite shocking that he did that. But I'm going to take a little bit of a different take on Daniel Andrews coming back to work. I'm actually glad he's coming back, because one thing he's really good at, Alan, is doing a bad job. And the quicker he comes...
So this is how it's going down in Down Under. The jungle surfer is hanging out down there in the Babylon of Babylons. And I actually saw a meme earlier. Somebody was saying that the vaccines, or the whatever, the V's, are about white genocide. And henceforth why you see the areas with a lot of white people being incredibly highly pressured to get the jab. So, in addition to taking pastors' Bibles and just generally being like the opposite of what you'd like to think of Australians as, their government is now meeting in secret to introduce permanent pandemic laws into Victoria. Managing Director of Reignite Democracy Australia, Monica Smith, says for the last year and a half, the Andrews government has been working with parliamentary crossbenchers, meaning like people like right-wing conservative folks who are working to kind of do bipartisan legislation in Australian Parliament to make the votes to introduce permanent pandemic laws into Victoria. And the remarks come amid reports from the 9 papers the Andrews government is in secret negotiations with 3 crossbenchers to create permanent pandemic laws. And it's shocking. It's been happening for the last year and a half, she told Sky News host Alan Jones. Those 3 crossbenchers are basically decoding everything, and it makes the other members of Parliament, who are very good, by the way, must feel quite helpless to not have a vote. The Andrews government isn't even talking to these other members of parliament, just the 3 that make the votes. Mr. Jones said the trade-off the crossbenchers wanted was for police to record the racial appearance of people they stop or fine for breaching health directives. This is how fucked up politics is. Period. End of story. But in Australia, it's even like these are official statements. That was the trade-off that the conservatives wanted was, okay, all right, we'll do some permanent pandemic measures. And even though Australia has like negligible infections of whatever the heck this thing is, the C is, and all we want is we want you guys to let us know if the people who are not wearing masks and who are having barbecues in their backyard with more than 4 people are black or if they're Aboriginal. Because we want to use that data. Like, it's...
Get into action and make sure that this...
Shut up, woman. This is just, I would say shocking, but it's par for the course. This is how it goes down, folks. This is how it goes down. Yeah. Oh, Darwin, Australia, I believe this is where they're popping off the fivest of the G towers in the entire world. I think is popping off in, I believe it's called Darwin, Australia. Yeah, it's a tech hub. I think they got some of the fastest internet in the world. They're like, it's their one redeeming factor, probably. So, Regan says racism is endemic in Australia. I don't know. I don't know if they force you to vote there. It's just, it wouldn't surprise me though. I mean, when I hear like, just the type of legislation that gets rolled out there, and when I don't hear like, you know, because if they tried to do that Australian legislature here in Michigan, I'll tell you what, there would be some kind of crazy militia standoff. But yeah, when I hear that, I always wonder, like, I thought that Australia was all of the convicts from Britain, supposedly, right? It looks like the Tartarians had already built something down there. But going over there, you know, just not 200 years ago or whatever. It was not too far back. And there was a bunch of Aboriginal people. But it seemed like a community of free-spirited people, right? That would have more reason to distrust and hate the Babylonian government than you or I. But it doesn't appear that they actually behave in the way that would be congruent with that. Let's see. We'll see what's on Newsmap. Oh, nice. Prince Charles standing up. Look at this fucking creature. Okay, I'll allow your ads for just a moment here, Daily Mail. Prince Charles will only wear a mask when government advice dictates that he should do so, and is not expected to cover his face in upcoming Exeter Cathedral visit. Charles will only wear a face covering when government advice tells him to. Hasn't the government advice been constantly telling people in Wales and the UK to wear face coverings? Prince of Wales is not expected to wear a mask when he visits Exeter Cathedral. Camilla, the Duchess of Cornwall, is known to dislike wearing a mask. Is this supposed to humanize these creatures? Like, look at this motherfucker with his pimp cane. He's like, they gave me this cane when I brought 700 pineal glands of 4-year-old African children to the Illuminati headquarters. And they gave me this button. It's a fucking weirdo chimo creeper. And all these guys in the background, they're like, oh yeah, we gotta watch out, make sure nobody catches his reptilian ducks. His insect gizzard flaps. A palace source said, this will be the first time in 18 months that we are seeing a return to normality. We'll be looking forwards, not backwards. This is the first time the prince has been to a location inside and won't be wearing a mask because it's a large area where people will be social distancing and will be the first day of the new rules. This is like telling you what setting Prince Charles uses on his personal bidet. There is so much detail involved in this, and it's so much mind fuckery of, oh, he's going to wear the mask. Oh, he's not going to wear it now. Oh, and just because this and because that. Like, I'm just like, bro, come on. I wore it to buy smokes when I didn't want to fight with the Chinese dude who owned the smoke shop that I liked. There's like, this goes on, but I don't have the heart to read it. Let's see what else Newsmap has for us. Rules for thee. Let them eat cake. Yeah, they do. They're like holding it up. They're like, check out this big raging scepter royal boner. Oh, nation. I think it thinks I'm in the UK, maybe. That's weird. Yeah, I don't know. Baldini knows how to he knows how to use the news map far better than I do. Okay. He may also be registered for some of these Telegraph things. Financial Times. No, yeah, I guess most of these sites actually, it seems like you may have to register for. I don't know, Baldini, if you're in here, I imagine, tell me, did you just register for all these cultural psychology brainwashing outlets? Is that what I'm gonna have to do if I'm gonna do this like a big boy? Virgin Media warns customers to take action or their mobile phone will stop working. Virgin Media has issued a vital warning to thousands of its customers. The mobile phone operator has revealed that some of its customers will need to take action or their SIM card will stop working. That's because they're ending its pay-as-you-go offering. Oh, okay. Well, that's completely fucking misleading headline, but whatever. That works for me. Counting your blessings? I don't have... Seriously, I have so many blessings, I'm not even sure I could count them. I could. Okay, this is weird. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming, and I'm not sure. Are you guys experiencing an interruption of any sort? Yeah, it looks like I'm losing people. Hold on. I'm afraid that if I hit stop streaming, it's going to end the stream. Oh, okay, it seems fine to you guys? Yeah, that's... I hate these warnings, and I have no idea what they actually mean. Has anybody seen... I know, Regan, you've seen it, and I know, Voy, you've seen it. The Lost History of the Flat Earth, parts 1 through 7. Ooh, some deep stuff. Baldini, I think that'd be right up your alley. Electromagnetism. What has he got, a chessboard in there? Oh, you go ahead. Clean your house. Clean your house, Jenny. Gotta have a clean house. 12 individuals are responsible for the misinformation about the vaccine. See, it's so hard to tell what these people are talking about on GLP because Godlike Productions, this is like one of the oldest conspiracy forums on the interweb, and it is completely co-opted, but you get lots of little gold nuggets on here if you look. Oh, this is, yeah.
A report from 2 watchdog groups found that 65% of anti-vaccine content circulating on major social media sites can be tied to 12 people. The Center for Countering Digital Hate and Anti-Vax Watch are calling out what they refer to as the Disinformation Dozen for violations of platform terms of service ranging from misleading to anti-Semitic. The list includes prominent anti-vaxxers such as Robert F. Kennedy, whose Instagram account was permanently removed recently. In a release, Imran Ahmed, CEO of the Center for Countering Digital Hate, stated, quote, "If big tech companies don't act now, the pandemic will be prolonged and more lives will be lost."
Yeah, it's all big tech's fault. They let us weirdos say what we think too much. If we're so wrong about this thing and it's so safe, like, wouldn't the way to deal with that simply to do like NBC, ABC, MSNBC, CNN, Fox News, everybody at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 p.m. just runs a detailed explanation of exactly what mRNA gene therapy is and exactly the side effects that have been seen and have been reported to VAERS. And they simply go ahead and, if they can, which they can't, debunk every single claim of people saying, hey, I'm a healthy young man, I got the jab, and then boom, now I have myocarditis. Boom, my girlfriend got it and she miscarried our baby, etc., etc., etc. And at the risk of getting a warning and yeah, all kinds of warnings. In fact, I will, I'm sure, probably, now that I linked this. But here is a website that I don't know if you've ever been to VAERS, VAERS, Vaccine Adverse Event Reporting System. But if you have, it's incredibly hard to navigate. You have to poke around and like look up, look high, look low, and it's kind of hard to get the data. You have to enter specific search terms and just know how to use it, which I've kind of got like a very basic idea of how to do so. But these folks over at OpenVAERS have compiled all of the VAERS data for the USA regarding COVID shots, and they have grouped it and extensively categorized it. For example, 10,991 deaths shows you from which manufacturer it's reported, the ages, the sexes, and this is as of the 7th of July, it was 985 miscarriages. So that's like 80, or no, that's almost 90. It's 88 extra ones reported in 2 days, just that are reported. And there was some highlighted myocarditis reports, and I guess maybe they're gone now. They were here just a couple days ago. But there's just the cup runneth over in terms of looking for negative impacts and potentially life-threatening and potentially deadly results from the jab. So, I mean, I'm preaching to the choir. It's not like y'all are gonna get it, but I just when I post this on Fedbook, and then the fact checkers fact check this, it's concerning because all OpenVAERS is doing is they are simply compiling government data and then reporting it in an easy to understand way. They're not misconstruing this, and they aren't there saying we can prove that this or that jab caused these or those side effects. They are simply saying this is what the data shows. And here you get missing context. Independent fact checkers say this information could mislead people. Lead stories, fact check. CDC's VAERS reports are not solid proof of vaccine injuries or death. Just a starting point for CDC, FDA, And that's all true. Anyone who actually was paying attention to me or anyone else who talked about this in the truth community would know that what we're speaking about here is a vaccine adverse event reporting system, meaning that these are reports filed by people, humans. It's prone to human error, it's prone to misconception, etc. And no one in the truth community that I know of is out here saying, I can categorically prove that the shot did this or that. They're just saying, look at the VAERS reports. Like, if either there's a cabal of people that are trying to co-opt the truth community and make us look like a bunch of fools through willfully and purposefully misinterpreting this data and funneling it in certain ways, or this thing is just hyper uber duber dangerous. But yeah, this Open VAERS it's a good site. I like that they went and compiled an incredibly hard to use database and kind of hashed it out so it's easier to use. Let's see what Alan Watts has to say. In a short amount of time, if we can. Because I have to pee really bad. Alan Watts on women. Let's do it.
Supposing I'm an alchemist, and I have a whole secret closet full of love filters, very potent ones. And if I see a desirable woman, all I have to do is to offer her a cigarette or give her a glass of wine with one of my secret potions in it. And instantly, I'm her master. Now, when I think that through, what would I do with a situation like that? Because all I've got again is that plastic doll that when I push it, it does what I tell it to and doesn't have any comeback. What you always are looking for in things is where the surprise is there, where there's a comeback. And you say, my God, this thing is alive. It has a will of its own. It is not in my control. And I would like to have a relationship with something like that, because it would never be dull. And also, you would feel true affection. After all, you can make love to yourself in a mirror. You can have one of those Dutch wives. You buy them in a place in Kobe, where you get these rubber girls that you fill with hot water. And sailors take them on long voyages. But what an awful thing, you know, when you realize that this thing has no gear, no surprise in it, no thing that it does on its own, you see. It is common in France to get a young woman really aroused, you know, and she will say, "Tue-moi, tue-moi, kill me, kill me," as if to go as far as you can in throwing yourself away to somebody else. You know, do anything you want to. And in that abandon, you see, there is the possibility that an undulation of feeling, which is total orgiastic feeling, may take over. And in that feeling, you see, you are one with what is happening completely. And that's what everybody, as it were, finally aspires to. You, for example, never force other people to agree with you, but you give them the notion that the idea you wanted them to have was their own. This is a feminine heart, preeminently. A woman who really wants a lover does not pursue him, because then most men feel that she's aggressive. And if she's aggressive, she obviously is a woman who has had difficulty in finding lovers, and therefore there must be some undesirably secret thing about her. But if she, as it were, makes a void, then, and is slightly difficult to get, then people get excited. They know she's a highly prized object, and so they pursue.
There are jugglers. There are very beautiful people. That's pretty astonishing when you pick out someone and saying, gee, isn't she gorgeous? And that's done without thinking. And it embarrasses many women to be told that they're beautiful, because they want to be admired for their intellectual achievements rather than for the bodies which their parents provided for them.
All spiritual people are generally against lovemaking. Ramakrishna used to speak about the evils of woman and gold. I've already demonstrated the evils of gold. But what about the evils of woman? In my point of view, yes, women can be a source of evil if you attempt to possess them. I mean, if you can say of another person, I love you so much I want to own you, and really tie you down and call you, well, it's like that poem of Ogden Nash, where someone claimed that he loved his wife so much that he climbed a mountain and named it after her. Called it Mount Mrs. Oswald Tregennis. And so, in other words, if you try to possess people and you make your sexual passion possessive in that way, then of course you are trying to cling to the physical world. But you see, women are in a way much more interesting if you don't cling to them. If you let them be themselves and be free. And in my opinion, you can have a very spiritual sex life if you are not possessive. But if on the other hand you are possessive, then you're in trouble. So, but you know, the average Swami won't agree with that, because he confuses, by thinking that the body that I touch is something evil. He's hung up with it. It's like the story of the two Zen monks who were crossing a river, and it was the ford was very deep because of the flood, and there was a girl trying to get across, and one of the monks immediately picked her up, threw her over his shoulder and carried her across, put her down on the other side, and then the monks went one way and she went another. And the other monk had been in a kind of embarrassed silence, which he finally broke, and he said, do you realize that you broke a monastic rule by touching and picking up a woman like that? And he said, oh, but I left her on the other side of the river and you're still carrying her. We know too that social institutions govern what we notice. An American male pays relatively little attention to the back of a girl's neck. And it's perfectly okay for her to grow her hair down long and cover it. But to a Japanese, the back of a girl's neck is the most exciting sexual feature. And so when you see a well-dressed Japanese girl, her kimono hangs a little bit down the back like this, exposing her neck. They pay no attention, though, to breasts, which seem to so fascinate the American male. It just doesn't seem to appear. And the way that a traditional Japanese woman clothes herself is exposing the neck, but looking very flat in front, and not at all showing the hips. She's willowy. She doesn't look very willowy underneath, as a rule, but she does when dressed in a kimono. Now, so you see, it isn't just that nature has built in to the human organism certain attractive features about other people. It's the social institution of what is to be attractive. And of course this comes out very, very strongly in the vagaries of fashion and how to do one's hair, paint one's face, etc., etc. When we had birth problems, see, all women used to think that birth had to be painful. It was good for them. It was one of the things you had to suffer because you'd been screwing around with people, and therefore you had to have a child, and it's got to hurt. And then the doctors got together and they scratched their heads, and a man called Grantley Dick Reed said, no, birth doesn't hurt, it's natural. All we've got to do is to talk these women into the idea that it doesn't hurt, that all these so-called pains are just tensions, and that birth is great. It's not a disease. It's not really something you ought to go to hospital for, because you associate hospitals with diseases and sickness. Birth isn't sickness. So you must remember, of course, that the word play and the word game have many levels of meaning. We are accustomed to use the word play in opposition to work and to regard play as trivial and work as serious. Very largely, a game or a play is something associated in our minds with triviality. You're only playing with me, says a girl to a suitor. You're not serious. How serious do you have to be? When does one get serious in a flirtation? When do we say this is getting serious? When you're holding hands, playing footsies under the table, kissing, petting, sleeping together, married and babies. Maybe that's serious. Well, she, first of all, feminine, represents what is called philosophically the negative principle. Now, of course, people who are women in our culture today and believe in women's lib don't like to be associated with the negative, because the negative has acquired very bad connotations. We say accentuate the positive. Well, that's a purely male chauvinistic attitude. How would you know that you were outstanding unless, by contrast, there was something instanding? You cannot appreciate the convex without the concave. You cannot appreciate the firm without the yielding. And therefore, the so-called negativity of the feminine principle is obviously life-giving and very important. I mean, let's just take our notions of feminine beauty. They're entirely fabricated by some curious creeps who edit Vogue magazine and Harper's Bazaar.
I was born on the same day as Hugh Hefner.
Who, when actually encountered, are about as comfortable as falling into the middle of a bicycle. And you know, poor women, they're always having to live up to the image of some movie star or somebody who is the great type of the day. They feel their husbands will be disappointed if they don't look like that. And that's because we set up these ideal external surface forms of beings, having no sensitivity to the substance, to the weight, to the volume, to the temperature, and above all to the smell.
Above all to the smell of pussy, says Alan Watts. Oh, man. Tell you what. Did Alan Watts work for the CIA? Sure. Why not? Who didn't? Do I? Not sure. No, I have no idea to what extent Alan Watts was hanging out at the Illuminati control window, but I do know that he's an incredibly famous, well-known guy, and so it's totally possible. I'm an ass man. I like breasts, I do, but I'm like, well, like those are kind of for kids. Like they're also for adults, but when you grow older, you're like, I don't need that milk to live anymore. I like the breasts. I like to hold them. I like to touch them. I like to lick concentric circles around the nipples and then suck and blow. Nice warm, hot, cold air. Alternating sensation. But I'll tell you what, I like the butt. I'm a big fan of grabbing the butt. If Baldini's still here, I know he'd agree with me. You guys, what do you say? Breasts or butt? What is the discerning truther's verdict? Not if you could only have one, but just what is the apex of your sensual envisionment? Yeah, baby got back. Indeed. Yeah, like what Alan was talking about. Women, not just, he wasn't just talking about women, he was really talking about men's egos trying to understand women and how this can be a very complicated thing. But, that's why Sturgill Simpson Jr., I think, plays this song. Sometimes you just gotta be like, fuck it. I'm going gay country. No, not really. But, oh, this isn't even, that's not the way that I play it. Well, we'll use the lyrics at least. Oh, yeah. We'll go down here. I sucked another dick last night. Not saying it's wrong or right. First one of you I could blame on the booze. Now it's just something I do. We didn't fuck, so don't get uptight. But I sucked another dick last night. So darling, don't get me wrong. It'd be you if you had a dong. Don't tell our son, 'cause he won't understand about his cop goblin come swallowing crazy old man. Oh, please accept me for the man that I am, not what I do in the back of a van. We didn't fuck, don't get uptight, but I sucked another dick last night. Darling, stop yelling. Darling, stop yelling. Baby's asleep. Didn't kiss neither of you till I brushed my teeth. So I need you to stop all this judging on me. The good Lord made all of us differently. I sucked another dick last night. Not saying that's wrong or right. And the first one I blew, I could blame on the booze. But now it's just something I do. We didn't fuck, so don't get uptight. Once a month at most, not all the time. You have to trust it. I'll be alright. But I sucked another dick last night. Sturgill. Sturgill Simpson. Regan's not going down on Brokeback Mountain. At least he's not willing to admit it on YouTube. No, but as far as I know, he's as close to straight as an arrow as they come. I often wonder if there's anyone who hasn't thought about sleeping with somebody of the same sex. Like, I don't know, because I've done it, so I can't even say that I haven't thought about it. So, that's it's not how I roll. Not at this moment. I'm looking for a female of this single long-term relationship variety, but you know, sometimes it's like Baldini says, meth is good for two things: sucking dick and making shitty music. So that explains something. What do you got here? Oops, something went wrong. Well, that link I couldn't get to it from here, so. And I probably won't play it online because I'll probably get copyright stuff. But we'll see what it is. Hunting with women be like. All right. I'll just check that out at my nearest experience, Howie. My nearest convenience. Oh, this, I don't even care if I get a copyright strike for this. Well, I kind of do, but this apology is probably the fucking best apology I've ever seen. Oh, no, it's not Sturgill Simpson then. Who does that sucked another dick song? Oh, Wheeler Walker. Yeah, that's him. Sturgill Simpson's a great musician, though. I really do like some of his tunes. Here we go, you guys. Wheeler saying he's sorry.
Hey y'all, it's Wheeler Walker Jr. I'm long overdue to make a statement about my last incident. I wanted to collect my thoughts, seek some real guidance, and come to you with a complete thought before I did. I was made aware of the video being posted to TMZ with hardly any time to think before it was released to the public. The video you saw was me on hour 342 of a 342-hour bender.
The
I was
last
on
one.
Natty Light, regular Natty, crank, crack, CBD, marijuana, wine, Jack Daniels, Maker's Mark, ecstasy, cocaine, Monster Energy drink, and Prevacid. I snorted Tums, I ate a balloon full of Tide Pods, and I squirted wine cooler into my eyes. I'm not proud of the language I used.
16
Using
things.
the words bitches and sluts is not fucking cool. I let so many people down. I let down my lawyer. I let down my manager. I let down my accountant. Shit. I let down enough Jews to fill up a synagogue. But I believe in forgiveness. I've reached out to the NOOBAS, the National Organization of Bitches and Sluts, and promised to stop using language that offends these skanks. The point I've learned is that it matters. My words matter. When a guy is sucking my dick and I use a gay slur at him, it is not cool. Motherfucker just trying to do me a favor and I treat him like shit. This week, in an effort to do better, I heard some personal stories from actual bitches and actual sluts that shook me to my core. It also made me whack off. I want to end this video on a
But
more
also made
positive
me
note.
whack off.
Since that video was taken, I've been sober for over 26 minutes. It may not seem like a long time, but it's enough time to know that the man in that video is not the man I am trying to be. So I've decided to go off the grid for a while and get used to making good decisions. Who knows if I'll be able to live down all the mistakes I've made, but I'm certainly going to try. I appreciate the support I've gotten, but I want you to know I was wrong. It's on me. I take ownership for using words like bitches, sluts, pussy, titties, skanks, dick suckers, and hookers. The time of my return is solely upon me. I've spent the last 32 years of my life getting fucked up and slaying lots of ass. It's time to move on. In closing, I ain't trying to be no holy roller or nothing, but there's a verse from my hero and poet, Too Short, that I think best sums up my situation. Here it is. Stop shaving that cat, girl. You might need to get it waxed, girl. I saw enough of you the other day. You need to go the other way. Everything looks good on the hoe but her face. Turn back around, girl, before you drop it to the ground, girl. I want to see you down on all fours. What you got on drawers for? That's daytime shit. Hit the club when the mall closed and drop them panties, girl. Your pussy feeling better now, ain't it, girl? Strip down to your asshole. More exciting than the last hoe. Just pop that pussy and shake that ass. Pop that pussy and shake that ass.
Wheeler Walker Jr. Apology, the musical. Long necks or cut your butt on a beer tab. Whoa. Yeah. Yow. That'll do it. That'll do it. We still have 7 people watching. I must be entertaining somebody somehow. Either that or you guys just pity me. One of the two or both. pulled into Nazareth, was feeling about a half past dead. Just need to find a place where I can rest my head. Hey, mister, can you tell me where a man might find a bed? Just grinned and shook my hand, no was all I said. Take a load off Fanny, take a load for free. Take a load off Fanny, and you put the load right on, put the load right on me. Packed up my bags, went looking for a place to hide. When I saw coming and the devil to walking side by side, I said, hey, come on, let's go downtown. He said, well, I got to go, but my friend can stick around. Take a load off Fanny, take a load for free. Take a load off Fanny, and you put the load right on, put the load right on me. Go down, Miss Moses, there's nothing that you can say. It's just old Luke, and Luke's been waiting on the judgment day. Well, Luke, my friend, what about young Anna Lee? Said, do me a favor, boy, won't you stay and keep Anna Lee company? Take a load off Fanny, take a load for free. Take a load off Fanny, and you put the load right on, put the load right on me. Crazy Chester chased me, and he caught me in the fog. Said, I will fix your rack if you take Jack, my dog. Wait a minute, Chester, you know I'm a peaceful man. Said, that's okay, boy, won't you feed him when you can? Take a load off Fanny, take a load for free. Take a load off Fanny, and you put the load right on, put the load right on me. Catch a cannonball, now to take me on down the line. My bag is sinking low, and I do believe it's time to get back to Miss Fanny. You know she's the only one who sent me here with her regards for everyone. Take a load off Fanny, take a load for free. Take a load off Fanny, and you put the load right on, put the load right on me. Oh, the band is a great band. Oh, did Charlie do a cool breakdown of that song? I'd be interested to hear it. Charlie is a very, very intelligent guy. Got real lost with the Q thing, but hell, man, I've been lost in rabbit holes before. I know what it's like. Well, I'm just playing fiddly fuck on the mouth organ at this point. My ear gets kind of. I gotta get some other headphones. Like they're good for mixing, and you can hear real well, but it makes me sweat like a whore in church when I wear these things. Yeah, so 12 individuals are responsible for the misinfo about the vaccine. They're trying to characterize like some, popular Robert Kennedy characters and demonize them to further demonize the common man who's just like, and that's not even misinfo. The people responsible for the misinfo about the vaccine that's probably a true statement. 12 individuals are responsible for misinfo about the vaccine. That being said, those 12 individuals probably sit around at the papal council and smoke doobies rolled with baby skin. Okay. Something really odd is going on in Europe in the most highly vaxxed areas. COVID cases are rising fast in the most heavily vaxxed places. Eventually, the correlation will be painfully difficult to ignore. Yeah, it's so hard to tell. So hard to tell. Oh, interested. This person started taking lithium orotate for their depression. It works, say they. This has been my experience. I no longer take it, but yeah, if you're gonna take psychiatric medication, give that one a try. It's certainly better than anything that the crooked witch doctors will give you. Those practicing physicians who are practicing at playing a crooked game. All of the psychiatric medication that they will prescribe you is far more dangerous than that. Lithium orotate is just elemental lithium bound with erotic acid. And while it's like, can stabilize your mood, it also will kind of chill you out a bit. So I've taken all kinds of psych meds, all kinds of this, that, and the other, and I did use lithium orotate for a while, and it was helpful. Considering it's like, if you got psych problems and you want to treat them with medication, that's probably not the best way to do it. But I get it. Sometimes, you meet people, or you yourself, you become so depressed, you're like, I don't want to get out of bed. Well, if you're going to take Prozac, you might want to try that first. But yeah, it's odd that I just saw that right here, because I was like, I've been talking recently to several of the people in the truth community about this, and they know my struggle. I'm not going to go into it and detail it here. I'm going to do a episode later on about bipolar diagnosis, misdiagnosis, etc., and I'm going to do one down the road as well about narcissistic personality disorder versus, randomly lobbing accusations at people of being narcissist. It's fucking hard to tell. I'm very narcissistic, and I've been called a narcissist, and I don't know. I could be. I do very much love myself and care about myself. And I do get very sick of other people's shit really quickly. But I could also just be born on the wrong dimension. I think that's it. Supposedly, CNN said it's time to start admitting that being non-vaccinated is a crime against humanity. Yeah, I don't know. That might have just they might have just fired it off. We'll see if we can't get a link to it later. Here's how we handle to get people who refuse to see jabs. Private passports. The government can't force people to get jabbed, but businesses can bar people who are not. We just need a simple, reliable way to determine who's had their shots. Bro, I'll give you a fucking shot of whiskey and be like, you need to chill the fuck out and let's sit down and talk about this, or are you gonna try to fucking get me to change my gender? Because you need to think, homie. Jay Michelson, you hear me, motherfucker? The Daily Beast. What kind of beast? The Daily Beast, yes, the Daily Babylonian Beast. Opinion. An opinion piece here. Americans are about to enter a new phase of the pandemic in which life-saving vaccines are at last a reality. The next several months will be confusing, with light visible at the end of the tunnel, but the tunnel darker than ever amidst thorny ethical questions of who should be prioritized. This was last year. Be interesting to see what he's harping on about at this rate. In this day and age. Yeah, better at dueling, indeed. Working title for what? Suicidal side effects suck? I spent 15 years getting loaded, 15 years till my liver exploded. Now what's Bob gonna do now that he can't drink? The doctor said, what you been thinking about? Bob said, what's the point? Won't think about nothing. Now I gotta do something else. Oi, 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 to pass the time as someone shave his head, he got a new identity. 62-hole air cushion boots and a girl who rides a scooter to take him out of town. They would get away, riding around, and as the trucks drive by, you could hear the motherfuckers go pump. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Da 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 ba da 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 ba da da ba da 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 da. Couple of lines, an extra thermos of Joe, and it be kicking in heads at the punk rock show. Bob's the kind of guy you knows just what. Bob's the kind of guy you knows just what to do. When the doctor tells him to quit your drinking, now's the time. But will he ever walk the line? To all my friends, I feel just great. But will he ever walk the line? Kicking ass and busting heads, red suspenders. Once a day he shaved his head. Will he ever walk the line? 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 Ba da 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 da. Ba ba da 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 da. Ba da 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 da. Ba da 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 da. Bob. This off White Trash, Two Hebes and a Bean. And the two Jewish guys wrote that song. It's a song about a skinhead getting sober, and just because he was an alcoholic, and he found freedom from his alcoholism in the skinhead scene. Anyways, yeah, I'm just fucking halfway drunk, and I've been doing this for close to 2 hours, so I think I'm just gonna probably let's call it a night here and just go and play fiddly fuck on the mouth organ in real life. Maybe print some stuff. Nah, 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 nah. Oi, 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 nah, nah, nah. Nah, 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 nah. Nah, 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 nah. Hey, 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 goodbye. Take it easy, guys. Don't do anything I wouldn't do on a bicycle. In the future, I will be putting forth my very best time, effort, and energy to just improve the stream. I just appreciate you guys sticking with me. It's a learning process, and I'm learning and growing, and I hope it's entertaining. I mean, I have fun doing it. Anyways, yeah, if you want to donate, it's in the description. I imagine everyone wants to, but if you can, there's Cash App and PayPal and Venmo and all that. And if not, I'm just glad you listened. Don't do anything I wouldn't do on a bicycle. Always wear your Jimmy hat. Like, not just on days that end in Y. And well, that's my 2 cents. You could spend it however you want. Have a good day, y'all.